Alright. The name is Dale, here to do the reviews for Blackkkclansman and also Crazy Rich Asians. These reviews are done on behalf of Audio Liquor Mag, Audio Liquor Magazine. First off, we're going to talk about Blackkkclansman, which is the new Spike Lee joint. This is the best Spike Lee movie since Inside Man. Spike Lee is one of my favorite directors. He's on my Mount Rushmore of best directors. You can put him up there with Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, and David Fincher. Those are my favorite directors for now. And even though I have a lot of respect and love for Spike Lee, his movies in the last 2 decades have been very hit and miss. Mostly misses, in my opinion. So we're going to take a trip down memory lane and talk about his movies that he did in the 90s and late 80s compared to the ones he's done in like the last 2 decades. He made classics in the 90s and you can say late 80s. You know, School Days, Do the Right Thing is considered a classic by not just me, in general, by movie lovers. Malcolm X is a classic. Mo Better Blues is a classic in my opinion. That's one of my favorite joints. He Got Game is a classic to me. I love that movie. I can watch that movie over and over. Get on the Bus is highly underrated. I really like that. But when the 2000s came along and up, the movies kind of started not having that weight to it. Like I didn't like Bamboozle. I'm not sure if that was made in the late 90s or early 2000s, but I didn't like that. I didn't like Chirac, which he made not too long ago. That was like a rap musical. I didn't like that. The 25th Hour was pretty good. It was decent. What other movies he did? Trying to think some other movies he did like in the 2000s. She Hate Me was watchable for obvious reasons, but nothing great. Miracle at St. Anne, I like what he was trying to do, but it was watchable. You watch it once and then don't think about it too much. Now, I didn't see this movie he made called The Sweet Blood of Jesus, which was like a horror flick. I never got around to watching that. I need to watch that. Then he did the remake of Old Boy, which was watchable, but you know, just okay. Now his documentaries. And also I did like Summer of Sam. Summer of Sam, I'm not sure if that came out in late 90s or early 2000s. I did like that. The critics, they killed it. They didn't like it, but I like Summer of Sam. But anyway, his documentaries have been very good in the last 2 decades. God Willing If the Creek Don't Rise is a classic, a must watch. I think they should be even showing that in colleges and high school. That was about the levees breaking in New Orleans and the whole Hurricane Katrina fiasco. He did a document series on that. Love that documentary. And also he did a documentary on Kobe Bryant, which was pretty good. And he did another documentary on Michael Jackson called Michael Jackson: The Journey from Motown to Off the Wall, which was his first solo album, Off the Wall, which I think that's definitely a classic, and I think is a little better than his album Thriller. But that's debatable, but I think Off the Wall is a little better than Thriller. But anyway, that was a good documentary too. So if you haven't seen the Michael Jackson or the one about Hurricane Katrina, I highly recommend you seek them out and watch them. So I have a lot of respect for Spike Lee. Like I said, we're going to get into his new movie, Blackkkclansman, which is based on a true story, based on true events. It's about this guy named Ron Starworth, who was the first African American police officer in Colorado Springs. And he successfully managed to infiltrate the local Ku Klux Klan division in Colorado Springs with the help of this Jewish officer. So it sounds crazy. It sounds like something that was made up, that it couldn't happen in real life, but it did. And I actually saw an interview with Spike Lee where Jordan Peele, who made Get Out, he presented Spike Lee with the idea. I think he helped produce the Blackkkclansman movie. And Spike Lee thought it was from a Dave Chappelle skit. And also, John David Washington, who is the son of Denzel Washington, who's the star who plays Ron Starworth in this movie. When Spike Lee presented the idea to him and wanted him to star in the movie, he thought it was a Dave Dave Chappelle skit. So that's just how out there this actual story is. But it happened. And this just comes full circle. Spike Lee making a movie with Denzel Washington's son is crazy, because Spike Lee did like 4 movies with Denzel back in the day. Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X. He got Game and Inside Man. So now he's doing a movie with his son, Blackkkclansman. And John David Washington, who is the son of Denzel Washington, plays Ron Starworth. And Adam Driver plays the Jewish officer, Topher Grace. He plays David Duke. And this is a funny but yet very serious, impactful movie. It has a lot of serious, like, deep moments, but it also has comedy to kind of balance it out. It was one scene where me and my wife bust out laughing at the same time. So even though it has its heavy moments where it's dealing with racism and equality, and the dark evil side of what this country is, it also had some light moments too. I would definitely give this movie an A-. There was a scene. First of all, I want to talk a little bit get a little bit off subject. I want to talk about this guy named Boots Riley. He directed a movie that came out like earlier this summer called Sorry to Bother You, which was another kind of comedy / drama about race in America, things of that nature. He criticized Spike Lee for this movie because he said Spike is painting the police in this movie in a good light. He's not being real. He's sold out. Things of that nature, which I totally disagree with. I think Spike did a great job of showing the ugly side of the police department. I don't think Boots Riley, didn't appreciate him showing there were some good cops. And I'm going to give you an example of a scene without spoiling where I think Spike hit it right on the head. Even though this event happened in the 70s, the Blackkkclansman is based off something that happened in the 70s, it still is very relevant and still happens today. There's a scene where John David Washington, who plays Ron Starworth, he finds out there's a very dirty, racist cop in their department. And he tells the Jewish officer and also this other white officer who's helping him with his case with the Ku Klux Klan. And he said, why does this dude still have a job? Why he hasn't been arrested for some of the things he's done? He's a very racist cop. And they said, yeah, we know he's bad. We know he shouldn't be working, but he's family. The police think they family. They watch out for one another. That's the problem. That's why you don't really have no cops really coming out, speaking out when these cops shoot unarmed black men, because they feel like they're family. And I think he did a great job of displaying how that's a problem. How things don't really get punished because other cops, so-called good cops, don't come out and speak against them loudly in the media and in the press. So I think he did a good job with that, and I totally disagree with Boots Riley. I respect Boots he was an underground rapper, and now he's directing movies and writing movies. So I really was happy about that, but I totally disagree with him on that. But we're gonna move on from that. Talk a little bit about Crazy Rich Asians. I had no thought or desire to see this movie in the theater. For one, it's a romantic comedy. I don't usually go to the theater to see romantic comedies, but my wife wanted to see it. She wanted to support this majority or all Asian cast. She really wanted to go see it. So I was like, I'll go see it. We got Movie Pass, even though Movie Pass been a disaster the last couple of months. We still got it, so we might as well use it. So I went with very low expectations. You know, I don't have no problem watching a romantic comedy at home, but I don't go to the theaters to see them. When anyway, and I have to say, it's a little better than I thought it was going to be. Oh, by the way, if I didn't get my grade for Blackkkclansman, it's an A-. Gotta go see that in the theaters. Now, talk about Crazy Rich Asians. The film is a romantic comedy. It's based on a book, a series of books. It follows this native New Yorker, this Asian lady, who goes to Singapore and meets her boyfriend's family. And it has your typical characters in a rom-com. You know, you have your rich folks who are very disrespectful, who look down on others. You have a few down-to-earth rich folks who seem very friendly and nice. And then you have your flamboyant gay guy who thinks he's a fashion expert. So it has your typical cliche type of things you'll see in a rom-com. Like I said, it was a little better than I expected. I'll give it a C+. My wife thought it was a B-. So she didn't think it was that much better than I did. They plan to do another one. It made a lot of money. And it's also based on a series of books. So you have another one coming. I'm all for it because we need diversity, not just movies with black folks. We need movies with majority Asian cast. We need movies with majority Latino cast, I feel. So I'm all for that. I was just thinking right after the movie, you know, this is a little off subject, but we had Black Panther early this year with majority of the cast was black. It was set in Africa. Majority of it was set in Africa. I said, what if the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, did a Submariner movie, Prince Namor, with an all Asian cast? I think that would be lovely. I think that would be great. I think that's something that they should do. But who am I? That's just the idea I had. So definitely go see Blackkkclansman in the theater. And there you have it. I'm done. I'm finished. There you go.